Exclusive contract novel from Feilu Novel Network. Me. Game designer. Crazy little girl at the beginning. Qiu Yaoyang travels through parallel worlds, obtains game development systems, and begins with a hell's version of Mario. The difficulty is simply insane. After being angry, Daixiaomei swore, I will never play games developed by Qiu Yaoyang again in my life. So Qiu Yaoyang developed a voice-controlled game called Xiake Xing, Stupid Little Girl. The strong wind must be cut off, Hasaki. What a cartoon in the house. Audience. What if you promised never to play Qiu Yaoyang's game? Daisy Girl. I'm sorry, this game is really amazing. However, players are really being driven crazy. In Only Wolf, why do you take out a gun while fighting without showing any martial arts skills, and then say that you are the sword saint? I've seen someone shameless before, I've never seen someone so shameless before. Other games earn money, while Star Wars Mecha does not earn money, but earns life. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. At the beginning of Chapter 1, the silly girl was driven crazy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hashtag the first test of Dragon Soul was launched and its rating dropped below 3 points. The so-called sincere work is actually a deceitful one. Hashtag The Earth Guard is a hit, with low sales, criticized for its single gameplay, and a cliché D-plot. Hashtag Where should domestic games go after consecutive failures? Hashtag In the dormitory of a male student at Lianjiang University. Qiu Yaoyang was flipping through the news on the computer. 3 days ago, he traveled here and bound the system that would kill him if he didn't play games. He also saw the tragic situation of domestic games. In his previous life, the country where Qiu Yaoyang lived was full of flowers, and games had become the ninth art, one big step ahead of other countries. In this parallel time and space, domestic games are gradually declining and being invaded by foreign cultures. As a severe gaming patient in his previous life, Qiu Yaoyang resolutely decided to revitalize domestic games and create his own gaming empire. Don't ask, he is voluntary and definitely not forced by the system with his life. The game production system has started. Description. Each time the host creates a game, they will receive production points. The greater the player's emotional fluctuations, the more production points they will receive. Production points are settled irregularly and the purpose needs to be explored by the player. Qiu Yaoyang explored the system and created his first game, focusing on the greater the emotional fluctuations and providing more production points. He created a simple game. After the game was completed, he sat in front of the computer, watching the live broadcast with a gentle smile on his face. She should be able to play. Qiu Yaoyang pondered for a moment, feeling that sending it directly was somewhat unreliable. Fingers are dancing on the keyboard. Damn little sister, I am your loyal fan, a poor college student from the depths of the mountains. A sincere and meaningful letter, please return and send it. Douyu, a well-known anchor, had just started broadcasting when there were tens of thousands of people in the live broadcast room. After a brief greeting, she began to check private messages in the background. The silly girl suddenly saw a long piece of content and asked her to pause for a moment. Damn little sister, I am your loyal fan and a poor college student from the depths of the mountains. My dream is to become a great game designer. I have spent a lot of time and effort creating a game, but it has been a long time and no one is willing to play my game. Now I really don't know if I should persist. Perhaps my choice was a mistake. Her eyes froze for a moment as she received a private message from her fan. The boy walking out of the mountains. Strive hard for your dreams, but in reality, I encounter obstacles everywhere and feel extremely embarrassed. This fan just sent a private message and should still be watching my live stream. Those who have dreams are amazing people. Persist in your dreams and I support you. It's not that no one is playing your game, but they haven't noticed yet. She live streamed while speaking, waiting for the game to be installed. After the game is installed, be sure to encourage him from all aspects. Game visuals, controls, music. She couldn't wait to click on the game, considering where to praise it from. At first glance, it is an ordinary interface with no outstanding features. This game has a very simple interface. Let's operate it. Well, the operation is also very simple. Her smile couldn't hold back. There's not a place for her to boast about in such a big game. This game designer is also a talent. Thinking that this fan might be watching her own live stream, Daixiaomei decided to forcefully win over her. I must pass your game to prove that someone can play it, she said with a big smile on her face. Thinking of this fan becoming a great game designer due to her encouragement, it was as if seeing a bright future for her fans, and her smile widened. Just as I put down my big talk and took a few more steps, I saw the full screen of mechanisms dancing wildly. The female anchor sitting on the esports chair couldn't help but approach the screen and scrutinize the game with delicate eyes. Her eyes were dull and her whole body stiffened. What fans see is the beauty of the silly girl with no blind spots in 360 degrees. What the silly girl saw was this 360-degree trap with no dead corners playing around. After a moment of mesmerizing silence, brothers, can I retract the preface? On the public screen, everyone brushes and says, no way. Saying to support it, hurry up and clear the game. Brother is watching in the live broadcast room. Pushing ducks onto the shelves seems to be unavoidable. Stupid little girl bravely observed the game interface. The screen is full of waving flame sticks, very dense, with only a small landing point in the middle. No, how are we going to get through this? She tried to walk down and pass, but collided with the flame stick sweeping towards her on the right. First kill. Coming so fast. She just took a few steps out and then disappeared. She looked bewildered. What just happened? Who am I? Where am I? Is it a joke to die so quickly at the beginning? Isn't it? I haven't seen any operation yet, so I died so quickly. The game with the fastest death in history. Death at the speed of light. Daixiaomei doesn't believe in evil, she focuses on the computer and pays attention to the dense flame sticks behind her. I was careless just now, but now I need to take it seriously. Seeing a good opportunity, she quickly rushed over and happened to collide with the flame stick sweeping over her. Double kill. Well done. Throw your arms and embrace the flame stick. I started to envy a flame stick. The little girl wanted to observe the pattern before walking, but who knew that after standing in place for a short while, she was swept away by the flame rod slanting upwards and died again. This. Even before taking the first step, she had already died 3 times in a row, and the silly girl once again felt a sense of retreat. This game is toxic and dies so quickly. Is it a death-to-death game? If you die too much, you can clear the level. Just now, I put down big words in front of my fans. I need to encourage them well and complete the game. Isn't it not good to back down so quickly? The little girl was once entangled in a dilemma. Brothers, is this too difficult? Is it a game that people can pass? Fans are extremely excited when they see silly little girls, one by one like hungry wolves seeing prey. Playing games requires perseverance, not fear of difficulties. Games are easy and impatient, and games are difficult, but you have to back down. Are you okay, silly girl? Being mocked, the silly girl couldn't accept it. She patted the table and angrily said, if it's a woman, don't say it's not good. Isn't it just a game? Today, I'll clear the level for you to see. When she interacted with the audience, Mario died twice again. Brothers, I seem to have found my way back. After paying close attention to the trajectory of the flame stick, the silly girl finally found a possible path. Seize the opportunity to jump up. Dead. If the timing is not right, come back. It's still not right, come again. Come again. The patient attempts made by the silly girl time and time again caught the attention of the audience. It is said that being serious is the most charming. She focused her attention on the screen, from murmuring to being serious later on. She swore that she had never taken her exams so seriously before. There are many mocking words missing from the public screen, all cheering her on, but now the silly girl is focused on passing the level and has no time to pay attention. Death after death, starting over time, gradually mastering the rules. Finally, she leaped over from above and successfully passed. I did it. I did it. She pounded the table excitedly, as if this was the only way to vent her excitement. Mario stands in the middle of the screen, it's a staged victory. I admit the difficulty of this game is quite high, but as long as you master the rules. She got up and didn't finish speaking. The next second, Mario was caught by the rising flame rod underground and sentenced to death. Nearly an hour of effort was destroyed in an instant. A deathly silence. The expression on the silly girl's face was fixed on the happiness and excitement she had just experienced, but her eyes widened with an incredulous expression. She didn't catch a breath, her head was dizzy now, her ears were buzzing, and her whole body was tense, trying to suppress her anger. But her inner anger still surged like a gush, and she shouted with all her strength. Is that fan still here? Report the address, I'm here to kill you. I lost the trace of that fan on the public screen, and after careful examination for a long time, I did not see the ID speaking. She angrily straightened the keyboard and gritted her teeth, saying, I don't believe it anymore. I can't even pass the first level. Dead. I'm dead again. 2 hours have passed, 3 hours have passed. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 2. I will never play his game again in my life. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 6 hours have passed. The silly girl stared at the screen tightly, highly focused. At this moment, even if the sky falls, it cannot affect her. This game is too difficult, you should give up. No matter how many times you die, you can't get through it. There is nothing difficult in the world, as long as you are willing to give up. Fans spare no effort in mocking silly girls. The more she was mocked, the more she developed a sense of refusal to accept defeat in her heart. Fans sent her challenging games, repeated deaths, and fan ridicule. These seem like mountains pressing on her heart, making her feel a surge of anger that she can't even spit out. Daixiaomei wants to prove it to them, she is not someone who gives up easily, she definitely wants to pass the level smoothly. Finally, with the last jump, Mario successfully took off the flag and achieved victory. I passed. Haha. Do you see any cute brothers? What is strength? This is strength. The silly girl pointed at the computer screen, her fingers trembling. The joy of passing the level made her want to stand up and twist twice to show her excitement, which was even more exciting than eating chicken because the game was too difficult. She developed a strong desire for conquest. Even the corners of the mouth were randomly rising, unable to control it. How did you say I cleared the customs so quickly? In a very condescending tone, the silly girl spread out her hand and said helplessly, sigh. Powerful people won't be stumped in any game, this is also a kind of annoyance. Seeing her pretending to be powerful, fans mercilessly exposed her. If I remember correctly, this is only the first level, 6 hours. 6 hours have passed the first level, you're amazing. The silly girl's smile stiffened and she snorted, the first level is just a warm-up and familiar operation. The real operation is only starting now. She put on an expression of disdain for this game. At the same time, my mind recalled the difficult journey of the previous level, where countless deaths brought me countless times hovering on the brink of collapse. 6 hours. She didn't do anything and spent 6 hours playing this game. It took a whole 6 hours to pass the first level. It was supposed to be time for dinner, but she wasn't as hungry as usual, full of gas. This game tests one's mentality too much. She feels like she's on the brink of collapse, frantically probing. But after experiencing the sense of achievement and satisfaction brought by passing the first level, she became trapped in this game and couldn't extricate herself. Be sure to conquer this game. She turned her head and showed a painful expression, with a mournful expression. Facing the camera again, she was still a silly little girl who swallowed the pain and fatigue into her stomach. This game is simple, little question. Let's start the next level. She clicked on the second level. A picture that is so simple that it cannot be any simpler, without any difficult traps, and with no difficulty in operation. After going through the first level of beating, Daixiaomei's familiarity with this game has increased exponentially. Surprisingly, none of the numerous traps stumped her. Is it difficult? Is it difficult? She spoke in an exaggerated and unbelievable tone, questioning her soul. It seems that this game is getting simpler as it progresses. He probably wants to tell us the truth of life, that when doing anything, getting into the industry is the most difficult. Persistence is victory. She put her 2 fingers together on her forehead and made a handsome gesture. I'm a silly girl, pass the game. Don't show timidity in front of fans, just let go of big talk confidently. Even fans wonder if she's crazy. No, where did this honey confidence come from? If you can pass the level, I'll call you Dad. Since you said that, I will reluctantly become your father, said Daixiaomei with a smile when she saw the fans speaking. She was laughing and joking with her fans while manipulating Mario to overcome numerous obstacles, and her furrowed brow gradually relaxed. The audience shouted at her for being amazing. Not bad, the form is great. Isn't it just a few traps? What's there to be happy about? Damn it, let her pretend. 666. Looking at the cheers on the public screen, a sense of achievement and satisfaction arose in the little girl's heart. This game is just like that. She must pass this game today. What kind of mentality game? She will soon be able to conquer this game. With this thought in mind, she gradually relaxed her guard, and at this moment, the second level revealed its fierce true face. Stupid little girl underestimated the enemy. 2 brick stairs are separated by a certain distance, and you only need a small jump to get there. Just as she jumped over, a brick suddenly appeared perfectly in front of her, and Mario fell straight down. Dead. In an instant, she was pushed back to the starting point. The smile on the silly girl's face solidified. Once again, a second brick appeared at different heights. How could I fall down again? She impatiently tapped on the table, frowning. This scene seems familiar. An ominous premonition emerged in her heart. Returning to the place where she had died before, the little girl patiently came up with a solution quickly. Mario jumped left and right several times and successfully crossed that distance. Ha! I came over smoothly. Some of the suppressed gloom in her heart dissipated. Just as Mario took a step forward, he suddenly fell into the abyss along the falling brick. Looking at the interface announcing her death, the silly girl went from being stunned to having bulging veins on her forehead, and then blushing all over her face. A whole 7 hours. She died in the first level and then died again. After going through countless hardships, I passed the first level and then died again and again in the second level. In this life, there are no obstacles that cannot be overcome. If there are, it must be because we haven't tried enough. The ups and downs are what life is all about. We should smile and thank ourselves for constantly strengthening through hardships. The manic mood reached its peak in an instant, and after holding it for a full 3 seconds, the silly girl finally broke through her defense, smashing her keyboard and yelling at the screen, "Get out! Get out of my computer! Ah ah ah!" Countless speeches are wildly refreshing on the public screen. The program effect explodes in an instant. A naive girl who has always been calm, surprisingly, one day she was infuriated by the game. They just want to present a banner to the game designer now, and seeing the silly little girl so angry is simply a marvel in the world. Is that it? No way, is that it? I'm so dumbfounded. Ha ha ha. This is a big blow. At this moment, the silly little girl's mentality has undergone a drastic change. Countless tycoons are brushing a string of big rockets for her like a screen swipe. The popularity of the live broadcast room reached tens of millions in an instant. A moment of ultimate defense breaking, directly recording this moment in history, becoming a classic segment that will forever be passed down in the live streaming industry. The live broadcast room has become a frenzy for fans, and the audience is a sea of joy. However, the silly girl has not yet escaped from this emotion. Ah. I'm so angry. I vomited. How could there be such a cunning game? Who is this fan? Who is this game designer? Stand up for me. If I can't kill you, I won't call you a silly little girl. Her head was dizzy, her lips were trembling, and she wanted to say something, but couldn't say anything. The manic little girl couldn't care if it was a live broadcast, her anger escalated to the extreme. She rubbed her hair with both hands, shouted and stomped her feet in anger, just to vent her anger. Stupid little girl broke her defense and was driven crazy by this game. Now she just wants to drag out the designer of this broken game and beat her up. I swear, in my lifetime, I will never play the game he developed again. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 3. Stupid little girl, performed well. You are listening at novel.Feilu. Seeing the silly girl in the live broadcast room who was in a crazy mode, the man in front of the computer chuckled and then turned into a burst of laughter, echoing in the empty dormitory as if he wanted to vent all the confusion he had endured until now. Watching those anchors go from being confident at the beginning to falling into madness in the end, Qiu Yaoyang is happy to see them being taught to be human beings in the game. The system settles irregularly, current production point. 300, it only took 100 production points to create this game, and now a trial player has collected 300 points. Qiu Yaoyang is in a good mood. What are he going to do for the next game? The choices provided by the system include action, horror, audio game, and management. The first game is a trial, with a 10% discount, so you can make it with 100 production points. Starting from the second game, start with a minimum of 1000 production points. When can we save up to the production point? Put the game on the shelves first. Sell as much as you can, it's all about production points, Qiu Yaoyang muttered as he uploaded the game. Go on, why don't you continue playing? Where's the agreed clearance? I'm waiting for you to pass. The public screen is full of encouragement for silly girls to continue playing games. Only by continuing can they have more opportunities to see the silly girl break through the defense. Recalling the past 20 years of her life, Daixiaomei was certain that she had not done anything heinous, enough to make her fans torture herself with such a difficult game. She took a sip to calm down and sat back in front of the computer, disheveled. The gloomy death interface now cast a shadow over the game, and even a glance could evoke painful memories in her heart. I won't play anymore. Played for 7 hours, let me take a break. She pondered for a moment. A thought surged in my heart. Take out the phone and dial it. Hello, Sister Zhou. The smile on the little girl's face was particularly sincere. I heard you were looking for simple and easy games before. I happen to have one on hand, which is very simple and easy, very suitable for relaxation. Oh, my dear sisters, if there is something good, I must be the first to think of you. How can I cheat you? As if Sister Zhou were sitting in front of her, she acted as Air Kong, with the appearance of selling Amway to her sisters sincerely. I will send you the game installation package. Hanging up the phone, she thought again. How can one person be enough? The hardships she just experienced require more people to bear together. Call again. Hello, Decima. I have a new game here, and I think only high gamers like you deserve it. I won't hurt you this time. How could I possibly hurt you? I just want to catch a ride with the great god and wait for a strategy. I believe you will be able to clear the customs quickly. Okay, I'll send you the installation package. Daixiaomei connected dozens of people on the phone one after another, using different reasons to deceive more than 10 people into playing this game. She hung up the phone and fell silent for about 10 seconds. Suddenly, she burst into laughter with her hands on her hips, tears streaming down her eyes. Dulil is not as good as Zonglil. How can she break through the defense alone? Good things need to be shared with everyone. The public screen exploded again, and everyone witnessed the naughty operation of the silly girl throughout, crazily deducting 666. This is the Oscar little golden man, please take it. If it's not you, I won't watch the Oscars this year. As expected, I graduated from the Central Academy of Dramatic Arts, and my major is different. Since you're not playing games, you've slipped away. I'm going to Zhou Jie's live broadcast room to watch, hehe. Friends, hurry up. Take screenshots and record the screen to arrange. There are fans of other anchors in Daixiaomei's live broadcast room, and they have all expressed that they will not make any reports. They are all true fans, and they love watching their own anchors break the defense the most. What bad thoughts do the audience have? They just want to watch one crazy anchor after another. When they rushed to Zhou Jie's live broadcast room, they could only see the scene of Zhou Jie being silent for a long time and then crazily smashing the keyboard. What kind of game is this? Mario kept dodging, but in the end, he still couldn't escape the fate of being killed. As expected. Haha, this game is toxic. The anchor has been collapsing one after another. Is it a lack of humanity or a decline in morality? The audience came to watch this scene. Sister Zhou finally realized their sinister intentions. I'm dead again. Sister Zhou clenched her fists tightly, wanting to smash the computer. In the end, she held back and took a deep breath. Image, the first level is too difficult. She originally wanted to give up, but someone on the public screen revealed that Daixiaomei has already passed the first level. How can she be willing? At least past the first level. Dead. I'm dead again. Every death intensifies her inner irritability, which cannot be relieved by being trapped in her heart. She is a volcano about to erupt, just waiting for an opportunity to explode. The straw that crushed the camel came very quickly. Zhou Jie finally managed to take off the flag of the first level, and countless flame sticks attacked her in a 360-degree attack without blind spots. Mario collapsed at the entrance of the flag, the screen full of darkness, as if mocking her innocence. Sister Zhou smashed the keyboard with one hand, her eyes turned red, her hair was messy, and she looked like a madman. She shouted and spoke harshly at the screen, disregarding her own image, or rather, she broke her defense and was so angry with the game that she collapsed. One step away. Just this one step away. I will be able to clear the level soon. Damn it. Stupid little girl, you're a scammer. What easy and simple game. You scammer. What kind of simple and easy game is this? This is clearly an even more challenging game. This game designer is simply not human. Why design such a difficult game? Revenge against humanity. This damn game. Stupid little girl. I'm going to destroy you all today. Fans have gone crazy with laughter. The world is real, Plastic Sister's flowers. Confirmed her gaze, the silly girl is a mischievous friend. Sister Zhou is so miserable, but I really want to laugh. How could I be so funny? On the public screen, there is a continuous stream of ha ha ha, and various tycoons take turns to brush off a wave of airplanes and rockets. At the moment when Zhou Jie collapsed, countless viewers flooded into the live broadcast room, and Zhou Jie's live broadcast room immediately became extremely popular. Her defense-breaking visuals will also accompany this game and become a classic image that continues to circulate in the gaming industry. How difficult to see is it to make the beautiful lady jump up and down like a monkey. Fans are already prepared, the screenshots that need to be taken, the screenshots that need to be recorded. What little sister Dai has, Sister Zhou also needs to be arranged. On the other hand, Decima, also known as Gao Wan, is facing a collapse due to this game. What kind of game is this? Is this game designer responsible? For a whole 3 hours, he sat in the live broadcast room and played for a whole 3 hours. I didn't even pass the first level. Fans have also gone from chatting and farting to mocking and mocking. Isn't it? You just withered from a simple little game. Sima cut is not at your usual level. Can Sima cut you off? The Sima had no time to pay attention to their words, and the level in front of him was like a high mountain, weighing heavily on him. The insurmountable high mountains make it impossible for people to catch their breath. At this time, the mentality of the Grand Marshal gradually changed. Look at this game, what kind of a good anchor has been forced into? We are all here to see Sima cut being driven crazy. Death. Death. Dead again. Decima felt that his nerves were constantly being honed. Reason gradually wears away, and he becomes silent, only playing games seriously. Struggling to finally pass the first level, he cheered uncontrollably with excitement. I didn't expect him to have such a day, because I am so happy to pass the first level of the mini-game. Decima's expression relaxed as he watched the prompt on the screen that passed the first level, and his feeling of strategizing the game returned. He was about to start the second round when his eyes swept outside the window. Sleeping trough. Why is it dawn? Decima is very restrained when playing games. He always goes to bed before 1 o'clock, but today he stayed up all night because of a game that kept him dying. The dark circles under the eyes are very obvious, and the appearance of kidney deficiency is faithfully recorded. Fans exclaim for their insights. In just half a day, the dozen or so anchors who the silly girl called all fell into the pit and broke through their defenses. After venting, they had the same idea as the silly little girl. You can't just suffer for yourself. The host area anchor has encountered a disaster. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 4. Looking for dumb girls again. You are listening at novel.Feilu. Taking advantage of the popularity, the sales of this game priced at 10 yuan have grown rapidly. The game streamers bought a replacement, and fans, whether following the trend or curious, all bought a copy of the game to experience. Qiu Yaoyang opened the platform and logged in to his account. Clicking on the sales column, the number that popped up almost blinded him. 8988, nearly 10,000 copies. Just 6 hours. We have already achieved such amazing sales. A game costs 10 yuan, and the total sales are close to 100,000 yuan. Even after deducting the platform's commission of 12%, the net income of Qiu Yaoyang's game has reached an extremely terrifying 80,000. You know, this is just a 6-hour sales performance. With such rapid sales, Qiu Yaoyang's game has successfully made it onto the hot search list on the EX platform. This game is like having infinite charm, which not only makes people frustrated but also gives them a vague hope. The first level is about operations, while the second level is about traps that are difficult to defend against. It's simply irresistible. Qiu Yaoyang is like a demon, grabbing the heart of a person who loves to eat and play to death. So his game went viral. The game costs game production points, while the revenue comes from production points and money. It is a low-cost yet popular small game. This is going to be posted. Unfortunately, all his roommates have gone home, and he is the only one in the dormitory. He can't even find someone to share his joy with. Life is so lonely like snow. Qiu Yaoyang became popular. Although he didn't show his face, he became a new favorite in the live streaming industry with a game with simple graphics and controls. More and more anchors and viewers are paying attention to this game. One reason is curiosity, and the other reason is that the live streaming effect brought by this game is simply not as good. You should know that when Daixiaomei and Zhou Jia were broadcasting this game, they received gifts with soft hands, and the popularity of the live broadcast room reached tens of millions of levels. There is also a group of viewers who are dedicated to watching the live broadcast of this game. They are happy to see the anchor break through the defense. This kind of bad fun is like Qiu Yaoyang hiding behind the scenes, watching the anchor constantly run into obstacles in the game he creates. It's simply not even more enjoyable. Oh my! How could I die again? Brother Plumber, please move and jump a little higher. Ah! Don't be so high. Death is a matter of minutes. The strong sense of defeat brought by death surged in my heart, and countless people made keyboard-pounding moves. The anchor couldn't bear the blow, pointing at the computer and cursing, causing a lot of laughter from the audience. The live streaming ability of the anchor is very powerful. Especially when the appeal of top anchors like Miss Zhou, who is a silly girl, comes together, it can reach an incredibly exaggerated level. Some viewers watched the various reactions of the streamers to cerebral hemorrhage and suspected that they were intentionally foolish for the sake of the effectiveness of the live broadcast program. It looks easy during live streaming, and if it were them, they would definitely be able to pass the level quickly. It's just a program effect. How can there be any game that can make people break down? What's so difficult about this game? I've taken note of it while watching the live broadcast, and that's it. Hey! Why not play cards according to the routine? Too cunning. Nima, what kind of old coward is this? Playing Nima. I'm cracked. It's hard to defend against. I compare operations to games, games compare mind games to me. How could someone make a game like this? The game is about playing with a smile, like me. Watch it, play tricks, it's still tender. Am I knocking inside? I'm dead again. No one can compare to Qiu Yaoyang in terms of not falling behind in game controls or playing tricks. The so-called high gamers who are full of confidence are ultimately taught to be human by games. Players have different reactions. Many people are pounding tables and keyboards, and in a more emotional state, they pluck a lot of their hair, almost facing the troubles of young baldness. Many people eventually fall into contemplation of life philosophy. The great responsibility that heaven will bestow upon this person must first don't say anything. Get rid of that game designer first. Report the address. Chasing you, Players are filled with complaints, and sales are still increasing at an extremely fast pace every day. Not only do you need to download and play, but you also need to say good things in the comment section. This game deserves my full score. The graphics are simple, but the game is not simple. A relaxed and enjoyable game to pass. You deserve it. After playing this game, my waist is no longer sore and my legs are no longer painful. My body is even better. The game is full of sincerity and has many connotations. You can gain a lot of life philosophy in this game. Although there are mixed reviews in the comments section, only a few people give low scores, while those who praise them are sincerely praising them. Many players believe their lies and are eager to download the game. In the blink of an eye, another group of people fall into the pit, complaining loudly. They saw through the truth in the comments section and followed suit, attracting more people. How can only they be abused? Countless players have had the same idea after playing this game. They wish they could pull this bastard game author out of the screen and beat him up. And Qiu Yaoyang's production points have also accumulated a lot of resentment among everyone. The system settles irregularly, current production point. 2000, finally, the system has settled. Qiu Yaoyang did not delay and immediately clicked on the system to create the game console, starting the production of a new game. He previously selected game categories, and as long as the rough framework is established, the system will automatically complete the game design based on the framework. It can also spend production points to automatically troubleshoot bugs and accelerate the time of game formation. Simply put, Qiu Yaoyang provides a plan, system production, and one person can create the game. With such a convenient system, Qiu Yaoyang can calmly think about how to play this game. He wants to play Chinese-style games. Promote our own culture and enjoy a wave of cultural exports in the world of martial arts. Qiu Yaoyang created a background story and put it into the game. In the 14th year of the Tianbao era, the Anlushan rebellion broke out, causing the people to struggle and complaining. A group of martial arts warriors born with the mandate of heaven, only to alleviate the injustice of the world and restore the peace of the people. There are 3 sects, covering output and assistance, with diverse professions. The main mission is of course to save this crumbling dynasty, or you can play in the mountains and rivers while completing the main mission and become a leisurely crane. With the system's almost cheating blessing, Qiu Yaoyang spent all the production points he had accumulated before, maximizing the freedom of the game and making the gameplay more free. It should look very interesting. Qiu Yaoyang muttered, completing the rough framework and handing it over to the system to write programs and troubleshoot bugs, waiting for it to go live. I just don't know if it would be too shameful. He once again opened the live private message interface. Hello little girl, I am your loyal fan. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 5. Special Decompression Games. You are listening at novel.Feilu. The little girl has been very comfortable these days. Since she played that game a week ago, she feels that her tolerance has improved in all aspects. For a whole week, she was immersed in Qiu Yaoyang's game and couldn't extricate herself. Since it was broadcasted, she always thinks of that game when she does anything. If I do this at XX place, I will definitely be able to go there. This idea has troubled her more than once. The next day, she began a devilish training. She swore that she must pass this game. At least let her pass the second level. At the beginning of the live broadcast, she still launched a Jedi mission to survive. After barely making it to the finals, she was shot in the head with a sniper rifle again. This is the only one who made it to the finals today. Feeling depressed in her heart, the silly girl puffed up her cheeks and turned off the Jedi survival button to open the hell version of Mario. If the first level tests her skills and timing, the second level is all kinds of cunning, with traps buried everywhere, and from time to time, an inexplicable obstacle will emerge that will cause her death. The audience was more excited watching her play this game than watching her play Jedi Survival. Because PlayerUnknown never lets silly girls smash keyboards, the kind that smashes 3 times a week. I don't know if it's an illusion, but the silly girl feels like her hair is getting thinner and thinner. Starting from the starting point, despite being extremely familiar with those traps, there are always sudden bricks that cannot be prevented. Dead again. The silly girl gave a hard tap on the keyboard, gritted her teeth and closed the game, then reopened the Jedi to survive. After playing that game, it seems easy to accept several consecutive sets of ground-to-ground boxes. So when the little girl encountered setbacks while playing other games, she would play a few versions of Mario in hell, feeling that the world had become incredibly beautiful. Well, those setbacks before were not a problem anymore. In the ups and downs of life, Daixiaomei has become an indomitable person, of course not. As long as she plays the hell version of Mario, she is very tolerant of other games. Little girl accidentally clicked on a private message. Familiar ID, familiar private message beginning. The fear of being dominated by a plumber flashed through my mind in an instant. She trembled and instinctively closed the private message interface. In such an instant it was also discovered by the audience who saw it. Isn't this the game author? The torture god. Stupid little girl, look at private messages. What kind of game did the god send out again, right? You are the game god, don't be cowardly and just do it. The public screen suddenly became lively, and everyone was encouraging the silly girl to read private messages. They are so curious about this game designer. What hardships have you endured in the real world to have such a strong sense of revenge? The game made is simply anti-human. The silly girl couldn't resist the curiosity of the audience and could only open a private message. The beginning is simply too familiar. Damn little sister, I am your loyal fan and a poor college student from the depths of the mountains. My dream is to become a great game designer. I am very grateful that you can play my game. The hope you have brought me allows me to continue on the path of game designers. Encouraged by you, I created another game with a beautiful art style and a particularly stress-relieving experience. Can you help me try it out? In the eyes of the silly little girl, the visuals were beautiful and especially stress-relieving, just like the lines she used to deceive Zhou Jia and them into playing games before. Can this person have some novelty? Do you think she will fall for it? Don't try to deceive me. Is it a game that is difficult to operate? I won't fall for your trap, the silly girl typed angrily. Her private message with Qiu Yaoyang was shared, and the public screen was laughing at her like a cat with explosive fur. Finally, one day, the silly girl will also start to have a sense of vigilance. 10,000 blood books seeking a trap game to break the defense of the foolish girl. A life that is not irritable is an incomplete life. As soon as the silly girl wakes up, she chats with him, and watching your other live broadcasts is boring. Right. Let's see what kind of torture game the great god has made again. The tycoons took turns brushing out strings of planes and rockets. The silly girl didn't want to chat, but in the end she had to succumb to reality. Quickly, the private message was refreshed, and Qiu Yaoyang sat behind the screen and spoke sincerely. This game has a rich background story and is an open world with high degrees of freedom. The operation is very simple. I have 100,000 viewers in my live broadcast room. I'm not lying to you, I'm lying to you as a puppy. Daring to say such things in front of 100,000 viewers in the live broadcast room, Daixiaomei has already believed half of it. The previous game had brought too much shadow to her, causing her to think twice now. The audience also believed him. Take a look at the game he designed before. What kind of torment has this group of hosts in the console become? Now everyone has an emojis that they have broken through. It's simply impossible to be any more mischievous. Has this game designer, who is good at torturing people, finally recovered? Stupid little girl, support your fans. I want to take a look, let me take a look. Daixiaomei couldn't resist the audience's urging and responded to Qiu Yaoyang's request to help him test the game. She clicked on the link to download, and this game is called Xiake Xing, which is a martial arts game. Who doesn't have a martial arts dream? Who doesn't want to be a hero and wield a sword to the ends of the world? However, domestic games are not booming, especially the martial arts style, which is full of local characteristics and has not been particularly outstanding in the market. Almost all of them are money-grabbing games disguised as martial arts. Over time, when you see a martial arts style game, the advertising slogan, "One knife $9.99, comes to mind. Even if it is a game played by a tormenting deity and collides with a martial arts style, it will always make people question it. What, martial arts style game? Let's go, let's go. I thought the great god was going to release some new work, but the result was a martial arts style. Sigh. It's so disappointing. Wuxia Wind Games must fight the street, okay. Who else thinks that Wuxia Wind can make good games now? The game is very big, and you can download and watch CG animations at the same time. The public screen was filled with curses, while the silly girl clicked on CG. A vast white snowy mountain, with long swords planted on the ground, and a person in the air facing a million-strong army. That was a young man in white, with a thin body but a momentum that could rival millions of people. He turned his back to the screen and reached out his hand to shout, "Kendo will last forever like a long night, sword." The long sword on the ground trembled incessantly, as if being pulled by an invisible thread, flying towards the youth. In front of him is a million-strong army, and behind him is the 10,000 swords emperor. Go! The sword is like an arm, and the long sword cuts through the sky like a shooting star. Suddenly, a scream came from the courtyard of Gaomen. A fat-headed and big-eared official died tragically at home, causing a riot. From a high vantage point, there is a tall figure holding a long sword facing off. Fish and meat are common people, death is not worth it. The emperor doesn't care, I do. The elegant music came from the painted boat, and the scene turned. On the battlefield, the Qin player held a blood-stained Qin and faced the pressure of the army. Our generation of mountain and sea cultivators, life and death mountain and sea souls, I want to seal the sky. The world is in turmoil amidst the 9 days of turmoil, and the heroes of our children are determined in the martial arts world. My Qin can play music or kill people. The 3-section cutscene CG captured everyone's hearts and minds. The agile lightness skills, exquisite scenes, and passionate fights attracted everyone's attention. Big production. This is using the cost of blood, right? Too hot. The Chinese-style martial arts are also amazing. They realized it before they even entered the game. Hiss, this martial arts style game seems very different. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 6 Dumb Girl. I kneel again at the beginning. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the game is over, the silly girl can't wait to enter the game. The characters in the picture slowly open their eyes, allowing them to see the scene in front of them. She was standing in a small valley, with a small waterfall flying down from the sky beside her. The waterfall seems to have accumulated all its energy, tilting down from the mountaintop and colliding with the surrounding rocks like flying flowers and shattered jade. Finally, it flows into a pool and leads to a small stream winding into the distance. This place is too dreamy, isn't it? I see the ripples in the water. The grass on the ground is so dense. How big does this texture file need to be? The silly girl manipulated the character to look around and was captivated by the exquisite scene. Just by looking at the picture quality, you can tell that this game must have put in a lot of effort. Rows of trees by the creek, each with a different shape, further enhance the realism of the game. There has never been a particularly good peak in domestic martial arts style games. Once this game is released, with the quality of the graphics in front of you, you can praise the glory of China. But such words are too provocative. I thought so in my heart, but I wouldn't say them that way. That seems to be a village over there. Let's go take a look. Daixiaomei controls her keyboard and mouse to navigate through the mountains and forests to reach a small village, where she can converse with many NPCs. Each NPC has their own lines and can chat with them. They seem to have their own game progress. For example, it's time for lunch now, and Aunt Wang calls her children home for dinner. These dialogues are faithfully displayed on the game channel, as if time in the game is gradually passing as the silly girl explores. This plot is too well done, isn't it? She sorted out the conversation with the NPC and found out her identity. My identity is a Xiake who wandered into the world after being injured. He was chased by his enemies, fell into a waterfall, and finally woke up in that mountain valley. The village chief saved me and wanted me to do a little help. Here we are, the first task. She eagerly took on the first task, kill the rabbit hair monster, 0 out of 10, the rabbit fur monster is located at the entrance of the village, and there are many white rabbit fur monsters scattered on the grassland. Stupid little girl is curious, get close and take a closer look. Wow, the rabbit fur monster turned out to be a long-haired rabbit, so cute and furry. Just as she was observing, the game determined that she had entered the hateful range of the rabbit fur monster, and in an instant, a grazing rabbit scratched her. Dumb girl. Health point 5. The character initially only has 30 health and cannot withstand a few scratches. It hurts so much. The silly girl hurriedly released a flat chop. Flat cut. Rabbit fur monster. Health point 1. At this moment, a big question mark appeared in everyone's mind. Is the damage of this flat slash too low? The rabbit fur monster ran faster than the silly little girl and quickly caught up with her. Daixiaomei quickly released her skills. There are more than 10 skills in a row in the skill column, who knows not one can be released. What's going on? What's going on? Unable to cast. What's going on? Bug. To die. She frantically pressed the keyboard, and the skill icon was clearly on without cooling, but it couldn't be released. No matter how crazily she clicks, the skill is like a silent fire, giving no response at all. This skill cannot be used. It's dying. She frantically tapped the keyboard, but unfortunately couldn't compete with the paws of the rabbit fur monster. After a few seconds, she lay dead in the wilderness. She remained silent for a while before suddenly pounding the keyboard with both hands. Damn it! The silly girl frowned and became furious. Why can't I use any other skills? That's too much. Isn't it clear that I'm going to die? The public screen was extremely lively, and everyone was laughing heartily. Familiar recipe and familiar taste. Play his game and achieve the goal of kneeling down in the first second. I suspect the silly girl is acting. It's like when I can't find the way to operate and get stuck. What kind of human reality is this? It's too impressive not to guide beginners. Skills can't be pressed, really a bug. What kind of guidance for beginners? It's not fun at all. People should grow in battle. So at the beginning, there was no problem with the little monster's operation. The little girl resurrected and returned to the village, hoping to find any other safe tasks in the village. If it weren't for the task of defeating monsters, it would definitely be easier to do. She saw an NPC in the village and went up for a conversation, but there were no task prompts. After an hour, she only measured the size of the village with her feet, but gained nothing. The excitement of just entering the game gradually faded away. Although the game has beautiful scenery and the NPC is also very realistic, it's not a problem for her to always get stuck in the first task. The first task got stuck, leaving the little girl feeling powerless and immediately feeling restless. At this point, there is a reminder on the public screen. Why not go find a game designer to learn more? Yeah, ask the god, isn't it a bug? I also think it's a bug. It's normal to have a bug in the internal test. The silly girl also remembered Qiu Yaoyang, right? Why doesn't she find a game designer? Open the private message and forcefully send out a sentence. Are you there? The response over there was quick. Seeing this little question mark, the silly girl became angry. She flipped her fingers and typed on the keyboard with a clattering sound, "You said this game is not difficult. I can't even defeat monsters, and there are bugs in the game, so I can't even cast skills." Before the news was sent out over there, dumb little sister roast. I deal 1 damage when attacking monsters, and 5 damage when monsters pull me. I can't use any other skills, how can I beat them? She felt like she just believed this guy's nonsense. What's so simple? This is just another torture game. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Add more rules. You are listening at novel.Feilu. New books are not easy, and seedlings need to be taken care of. Every piece of data is important for a new book. If anyone else is watching, please give them more support. Thank you, Little Pock Street. The collection of this book is very good, but the data such as flower reviews and tickets are almost at the bottom, making Little Pock Street confused. I don't know if there was something poorly written that caused everyone to abandon the book. So I can only kneel here and ask for data to see if anyone else is reading. As long as there are still people willing to watch, Xiaopu Street will definitely continue to work hard to update. Daily 4 changes, plus no cap on changes. Do what you say. 100 flowers and 1 watch. 10 evaluation votes plus 1 change. February ticket plus 1 watch. Any reward and 1 change. Looking for data support Little Poker Street, thank you. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 7. Voice control gameplay in the present world. You are listening at novel.Feilu. Carefully explore, every paragraph has a necessity for existence. Read more skill introductions and cook your own dishes, don't blame me. Qiu Yaoyang is preparing the registration materials for the company, and if the game wants to develop well, it must rely on the company behind it. Coincidentally, it's graduation season now, and opening a company can be considered as a way to comply with the school's arrangements and facilitate recruitment. He replied to the message and continued to organize the information. The silly little girl stared at Qiu Yaoyang's last words, her cheeks bulging, not knowing what she was thinking. Skill introduction. Isn't it true that in martial arts games, you always press any skill that lights up? Do you need to be so particular? She muttered, switching back to the game interface and looking back at the world of Chinese culture. A relaxed and joyful BGM sounded in my ears, and the village was half enveloped by the forest, like a paradise that only exists in fairy tales. On the top left is our health bar, on the right is the game task bar, and there is a circular progress bar in the top right corner. The rest of the space is empty. Can't you find any useful information? She complained and could only carefully read the skill introduction. The first skill is the flat chop that was previously used, which has no technical content and can be released with a mouse click. Starting from the second skill, each skill has a long introduction. Before, she thought the trouble was over, but now it's finally time for her to suffer the consequences. Flipping the heavenly palm. I subverted the whole world, just to straighten your reflection. I reversed the entire sky, just for that day, I couldn't cover the eyes you wanted to open. I blasted open infinite nothingness, just to open a path. She read the skill introduction with a puzzled expression, and the whole process was filled with the expression of a subway man looking at his phone. My left hand is the earth-shattering cause and effect, and my right hand is the lonely MO that covers the earth. Born a hero, died a ghost hero, my generation of heroes, why bother with a battle, earth-shattering. After reading this paragraph, Daixiaomei still couldn't find any clues. She frowned and spread her hand, her face covered in black question marks. Is there anything special about this skill introduction? The audience had no clue, so they had to let her take a closer look. The silly girl watched it several times without making any progress, only feeling dizzy and muttering while reading this passage. Born a hero, died a ghost hero. Our generation of heroes, why bother to fight and turn the world upside down? She stared at the last sentence, held down the mouse, swiped over the skill introduction, and inadvertently read it out, then released the mouse. Suddenly, the characters moved. The little figure on the screen waved his palm, his arms swung repeatedly, his elbows swung, and the airflow flowed away, forming a huge palm phantom behind him. Cross your arms, press down with one punch, and then retract with one punch. At first glance, it was collected and released, and a palm hit the wild rabbit next to it. The rabbit died instantly. The lively public screen also fell silent in this moment, and then erupted with even greater enthusiasm. Oh my goodness! Just saw something. The skills have been released. Stupid little girl, what have you done? The silly little girl was at a loss, and she had no idea what had happened with the skill she accidentally released. Didn't I just read the introduction of that skill? The silly girl's eyes widened and she couldn't help sitting straight. She just recited that sentence, and then the character released their skills. Shouldn't it be, born a hero, died a ghost hero? Our generation of heroes, why bother to fight and turn the world upside down? She tentatively recited a sentence, but there was no response. What's going on? She thought carefully, and just now it seemed like I also held down the right mouse button. Born a hero, died a ghost hero. Our generation of heroes, why bother to fight and turn the world upside down? No response. She released the mouse and the skill was released. There were no targets nearby to attack, so she slapped the ground with one palm, leaving a shallow small hole. Sleeping slot. This is voice controlled. This flipping palm is too handsome, isn't it? Dazzling. Stupid little girl, have another one. The audience was boiling, and they all shouted for silly girls to do it again. Compared to the stunned little girl, the audience is more like monkeys jumping up and down. The tycoons brushed a string of planes just to see her unleash her skills. Daixiaomei's live broadcast room constantly flooded into the audience, and even some anchors came curiously to see what games she was broadcasting. In the blink of an eye, the live broadcast room was extremely popular. She arrived at the location of the rabbit fur monster and held down the mouse at the rabbit fur monster eating grass, saying, "Born a hero, died a ghost hero, our hero." Hey, what's behind it? She suddenly forgot her words and lacked some confidence. This time, she only condensed an illusory palm in her palm and it dissipated. The rabbit-haired monster seemed to sense danger, looked up, and then lowered its head to continue eating grass. Cough, I'm sorry I forgot my words. The silly little girl silently recited the spell 3 times in her heart, and then tried to release her skill. Born a hero, died a ghost hero. Our generation of heroes, why bother with one battle, earth-shattering? The skill is instantly activated, and a palm hits the rabbit fur monster, killing in seconds. The rabbit fur monster that just picked up the silly little girl is simply unbearable in front of the flipping palm. So this is the usage of skills. The audience erupted with unprecedented enthusiasm. Voice controlled. I can do it. Ah. The silly girl's voice when reciting skills is soft and soft, I really like it. When I first released my skill, the progress bar in the upper right corner had a response. Darling, take a look. Being reminded by the audience, the silly girl only then noticed the progress bar and made another move of flipping the palm, causing the progress bar to rise to one grid and then fall again. Skill hits target, rabbit fur monster falls to the ground. The silly girl pondered for a while, completely unable to understand the function of the progress bar. But she finally found a way to release her skills and was able to complete the task normally. Born a hero, died a ghost hero. Our generation of heroes, why bother to fight and turn the world upside down? Fall a rabbit fur monster. Born a hero, died a ghost hero. Our generation of heroes, why bother to fight and turn the world upside down? Another rabbit fur monster fell down. In the background of the howling rabbit fur monster, the silly girl recited the spell 10 times. She has turned red all over her face. That's too awkward. The domestically produced game of voice-controlled casting is the first time I have seen it, and this spell exudes a strong second-tier atmosphere, which is simply shameless. She doesn't want to be a second-year girl at all. Hey! The audience in the live broadcast room is going to burst out laughing. The silly little girl's voice was soft and cute, reciting a kind of domineering dialogue with an inexplicable contrast in cuteness. Isn't it so cute? How could there be such a cute anchor like a silly little girl? Born a hero, died a ghost hero. Our generation of heroes, why bother to fight and turn the world upside down? My second soul has awakened. There are many people on the public screen who are using this spell, and they wish they could play games on their behalf. It's so interesting. Can the silly girl speak more emotionally? +1. I also want to listen to a more immersive version. It's already the limit to pronounce the lines, the silly girl doesn't want to immerse herself in emotions at all. I'm 18 brothers, I'm already an adult and have passed the second phase of middle school. The audience mercilessly exposed her. I can go to your 18th place. The old witch knows how to pretend to be tender, is she shy or not? If you're 18, I'll stand upside down and wash my hair. The second year of middle school is the most romantic fantasy of humanity. Don't be cowardly, silly girl. She took on the task again, kill the red-haired wild boar, 0 out of 10, in the back mountain. The little girl remained silent. Just now she recited the spell 10 times in a row, and she couldn't resist it anymore, her mouth was dry and her tongue was dry. How can she play this shameful game alone? Hurry up and bring a few more good brothers together. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 8. Game Spread. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Daixiaomei opened her private message again, and her communication with Qiu Yaoyang remained at Qiu Yaoyang's prompt, asking her to carefully read the skill introduction sentence. This guy, why don't you ask her how she's doing with the game? Stupid little girl muttered, tapping the keyboard with both hands. Is the great god here, /cute, unlike last time when she was being questioned, this time Daixiaomei asked for help from others and followed by a cute emoji. After waiting for a while, there was still a very cold reply, ... Stupid little girl touches her nose, men are all big pig hooves. When I need her to promote the game, I just come to her and don't care about the game progress or her. What about the promised loyal fans? I want to invite others to play this game together. Can you provide me with some beta invitation codes on your end? Qiu Yaoyang hasn't replied for a long time, and the news is like sinking into a sea of rocks. She thought for a moment and added, there's no problem with the fees. The message was sent again without a reply. It's not that Qiu Yaoyang doesn't want to reply, he's also busy right now, busy registering a company. Registering a company is an idea that Qiu Yaoyang has long had, whether it is the servers needed after the game's public beta or the game's customer service, these are essential things. Before the company is registered, it is not possible to make profits from games, and this must be followed. He looked at his phone and the silly girl sent him several messages. I will give a portion of the activation code to other anchors for everyone to play together, and the promotional effect will be better. Line. After some consideration, Qiu Yaoyang decided to have the system generate 100 activation codes and send them to the silly girl. As for who the silly girl wants to give it to, he is too lazy to care. The silly girl held the activation code in her hand and was extremely excited. Many people on the public screen are asking if the silly girl can give the game invitation code, and they also want to enter the beta test. The game looks so interesting, and their second soul is stirring up. The tycoons brushed a series of big gifts, just hoping for a game invitation code. Damn it, please get an invitation code. Seeking to take flight and seek favor. My friend in the ICU was most concerned about wanting an invitation code during his lifetime. Except for the few anchors who proactively came to her for invitation codes at the first time, the remaining activation codes are all benefits for the audience. Let's make a lottery, everyone has a chance to activate the code. Saying there is an opportunity, but there are less than 100 activation codes, thousands of people in the live broadcast room, and tens of thousands of people, which is not enough. Through a lottery, activation codes were quickly distributed to fans and anchors, and everyone eagerly downloaded the game. The game installation package was too large, and downloading alone took a lot of time. During this time, they watched CG again and exclaimed once again, "The graphics quality of this game is so good." The player who downloaded the game the fastest left the beginner's village. Born a hero, died a ghost hero. Our generation of heroes, why bother to fight and turn the world upside down? The player shouted loudly at the rabbit fur monster, filled with anticipation, deafening, but nothing happened. What's going on? The player is foolish. Did he read it correctly? I just memorized the lines in my mind. The silly girl demonstrated once. If you want to tune in, this tune can be adjusted. If you want to set it up, you can modify it to a free microphone. Oh. The player kept busy and tried again. Born a hero, died a ghost hero. Our generation of heroes, why bother to fight and turn the world upside down? The little man waved his palm, his arms swung repeatedly, his elbows swung up, and the airflow flowed away, forming a huge palm phantom behind him. Cross your arms, press down with one punch, and then retract with one punch. At first glance, it was collected and released, but with one palm it killed the rabbit fur monster. Ha, handsome. This player has a rough voice, sounding like Zhang Fei, and reciting lines is much more emotional than being a silly girl. Is it my illusion that this skill is even more powerful than a silly girl? It's not your illusion, I think so too. The audience's words caught the attention of the silly girl, who curiously asked, "What are the bars on the progress bar when you recite the spell?" The player let out a loud roar and released his spell again. This time, he focused on the progress bar in the upper right corner and finally discovered the clues. 3 grids. Brothers, I suddenly have a conjecture. Is it true that the more you invest in emotions, the more progress bars you have, the greater your power? For the experiment, Daixiaomei went to find a red-haired wild boar with thicker blood in the back mountain. The ordinary tone of the flipping palm can only cause the red-haired wild boar to lose half of its health. When she deliberately recited the spell in the tone of a magical girl using magic, the heavenly palm also produced a phantom and headed straight towards the red-haired wild boar. Similarly, with a 3-bar progress bar, the wild boar let out a mournful cry and quickly killed. On the public screen, the audience cheered, saying that she was super strong. Daixiaomei just wants to crawl under the table now. What a shame. Why design such shameful lines? There are still so many people watching. It's like being executed on the spot. The silly little girl's face turned red. However, the true mechanism of Xiake Xing has also been discovered by players, and the more they invest in emotions, the greater the power of their skills. The more you shout, the greater the power of your skills. This game is too relaxing. True sound spell game. I'm tempted, why didn't I draw the activation code? Decima asked Daixiaomei for an activation code and is also live streaming this game. Today, let's play a naughty game. Once installed, let's start playing the game. Decima had been following Daixiaomei's live broadcast before, and when he saw an activation code, he directly asked Daixiaomei for one. Now he has been able to smoothly enter the game. Although this picture is much worse than foreign ones, it's also good. Just looking at the picture quality alone is the light of domestic martial arts. Okay, we have received our first mission, fight against the rabbit fur monster, rabbit fur monster. He arrived at the gathering place of the rabbit fur monster and said, "Come and try your skills." According to the newcomer's manual, this is a voice casting game. Facing the rabbit fur monster, he suddenly lowered his voice and shouted emotionally. Born a hero, died a ghost hero. Our generation of heroes, why bother to fight and turn the world upside down? Nothing happened. The awkward atmosphere spread throughout the live broadcast room. The public screen suddenly exploded, and everyone was ha ha ha. What kind of thing? Sleeping slot. Suddenly, my earphones are about to explode. The scene was once very awkward, and I couldn't help but use my foot buttons to leave the 3 rooms and 2 living rooms. Decima didn't see the live broadcast of Daixiaomei teaching the audience in the latter half, thinking that all he needed to do was recite a spell. Who knew that he needed to cooperate with the mouse or set up a free microphone? He looks like a child who has found a new toy, and everything he sees is very novel. After searching for the settings, Decima discovered that he could really adjust the free microphone. You can really adjust the freedom microphone. Okay, now I need to take it seriously. Compared to being a silly girl, he is more open-minded. The next step is simply a process of releasing oneself. When Decima is excited, he will develop an accent. He speaks quickly and his skills can also be judged. So Decima became addicted to using various tones to shout skill spells and release his skills. Take a deep breath and let out a roaring roar at the top of your lungs. Sang is a hero, even if he dies, he will be a turtle. Our generation, sure, cherish a war and turn the world upside down. It's so shameful to sleep in a slot, You are very coquettish. 2333, why are you carrying a wardrobe like, Pinru. My meatballs all laughed, ha ha ha. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 9. Daixiaomei's death scene in a large society. You are listening at novel.Feilu. With the help of one person, Decima distorted the art style of the live broadcast room, and they even forgot how to pronounce this sentence in Mandarin. Many people returned to the silly girl's live broadcast room just to wash their ears. However, as players gradually enter the game, the art style has gradually become distorted. This game has 12 skills in one sect, and as soon as someone enters, they try out all the spells for each skill and roughly distinguish the categories of those spells. Offensive, auxiliary explosive, controlled. When the silly girl teamed up with them to fight against the elite monsters, she was almost stunned by the group of monsters dancing around. Someone enunciated clearly. The Xianming Guardian, the Iron Sword, is invincible. The sword energy is abundant, and the cold light shines for 30,000 miles. Behind him appeared more than a dozen long swords of ghostly shadows, charging straight towards the elite monster. Although it lacks the momentum of 10,000 swords, one can still see the arrogance of this skill, which instantly hits the elite monster to the point of remaining health. Standard Mandarin, with its plain tone, can summon over a dozen swords to appear, making people unable to resist thinking that if practiced to the extreme, there would also be thousands of long swords added like CG animations. Too handsome. Oh. Sword Immortal YYDS. Who doesn't love to be that towering fairy? This special effect is simply amazing. Give the full face. The silly girl was envious when she heard other players chanting curses. Sang. For Ranjia, tear it apart. It's also a bear, Wadai Heisai, Hoshi, with one chop, it will turn the tables on my younger brother. What's that? Before the silly girl could react, the player's flipping palm killed the elite monster. Even with dialects, the system can still successfully determine because it carries strong emotions, and this move can even reach the 5th level. Not to mention killing elite monsters with residual health in seconds, even elite monsters with full health can be killed in seconds. The silly girl fell into a mysterious silence. This is not over yet, and there are more roars coming from the side. Some people even want to say something halfway through. I forgot my words while lying down, it's over, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. The wilderness is chaotic and bustling with more people. Everyone began to actively explore the game, and the sound of chanting spells continued. The silly girl felt so embarrassed that she could pick out a Notre Dame cathedral with her toes. She really wants to play this game, but she can't let it go in front of so many people. I really want to play. I really want to let go and play like them. The silly girl let out a light cough. Cough, I'm tired. That's all for today's live broadcast. The audience who couldn't enter the game could only watch her play the game to satisfy their cravings. Upon hearing her say so, they quickly asked. Hey, aren't you playing games anymore? Let's play a little longer. The silly girl quickly waved her hand and said, Stop playing. After the broadcast, Daixiaomei wandered around the room, feeling quite bored. Her mind was filled with the game she had just played. Not to mention the intricate visuals, the skill release methods are also so immersive. Who doesn't have a second soul? Anyway, it's not live streaming now and no one is listening. The silly girl drank a glass of water to moisten her throat, sat back in front of the computer, and happily logged into the game. So the players who were exploring discovered that Daixiaomei was online, and they started chatting on the map channel. Hey, isn't this a silly little girl? Didn't she say she wanted to rest? Why did she go online again? Where is she, everyone? In the game, players come to a hide-and-seek game in search of silly girls. Decima was the first to find Daixiaomei. She was hiding in a field near the village, where there were many bullfrogs. Unexpectedly, her blood was thick, and the golden ears of wheat blocked her figure. If it weren't for getting closer, she wouldn't have been able to find her. The audience in the live broadcast room watched the silly girl unleash one skill after another, each time with greater power. I'll go, the silly girl is hiding here. The game's little fairy has made the silly girl abandon the live broadcast. The silly girl roars so loudly. This power is too great. Looking back on the previously discovered pattern. The more emotional one is, the greater the damage to their skills. They can simply imagine the silly little girl shouting and yelling at the computer at this moment. Ha 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 ha. Saying no, but still being honest with your body. I laughed so hard that I fell off the chair when I saw the silly girl playing games alone. It's so funny, haha. The Grand Marshal also suppressed his smile. It seems that the silly girl still has the burden of being a broadcaster. Let's get closer. As we got closer, the silly girl's voice became clearer. She pretended to be very forced and screamed heartily, making people laugh incessantly. Looking at the ill intentions of the audience on the public screen, he suddenly had a good idea. I have a good idea. How about calling Sister Zhou and having her live stream to see what the silly girl is doing? The audience became even more excited, especially the fans of the silly girl. If you love her, you have to expose her disguise. Too bad, too bad. Hurry up and make a phone call. How did Sima cut your clothes? Sima cut you and you have become bad. Hee, why don't you make a phone call now? Decima picked up his phone and dialed Zhou Jie's number. Sister Zhou, I heard that you live very close to Daixiaomei. I would like to trouble you with something. The game Daixiaomei was discontinued halfway through the trial. I would like you to go and see what she is doing. Activation code. That was given to me by the silly girl, didn't she give it to you? Of course, Sister Zhou did not receive the activation code, and the audience was not evenly distributed. Daixiaomei gave several anchors who actively asked her for them. Speaking of this matter, Sister Zhou gritted her teeth. When it comes to teasing her, she is not soft at all, and when there are benefits, she is not considered. I'll go now. Upon receiving a positive response from the other party, Decima showed a sinister smile. A frenzy erupted on the public screen. How could Sima cut you so insidious? I like it. Move the small stool, place a stack of melon seeds, and go to Miss Zhou's live broadcast room to wait. Wait 4+1, I want to see the silly little girl die. The audience is waiting to see the silly girl playing games alone at home. Zhou Jie started a live broadcast, and suddenly a group of people rushed into her live room. Brothers and sisters, it's time to visit my silly little sister today. I heard that the stupid little girl game was taken offline halfway through the trial. I live relatively close, so I'm going to see if she brought her dog with her. Plastic Sisters flowers. No, 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 no. Dumb little sister and I are good sisters. What game activation code? There is no activation code. I believe dumb sister will definitely leave one for my good sisters, reread. Zhou walked to the doorstep of Daixiaomei's house while chatting, and the cooking lady helped her open the door. As soon as I entered the room, I heard a loud roar from the little girl who seemed to be sacrificing her life. Born a hero, died a ghost hero. Our generation of heroes, why bother to fight and turn the world upside down? Fortunately, there were no other residents around, otherwise my little sister would have been complained about long ago. The closer you are to her room, the clearer you can hear. Sister Zhou's public screen is bustling with enthusiasm. I knew that the silly girl must be sneaking around playing games. I laughed to death. I didn't expect Daixiaomei to be such a broadcaster. Red and fiery, dazed and ashamed. Sister Zhou covered her mouth and suppressed her laughter. She stood at the door for a while. The silly little girl recited her skill spell with deep affection, and after a while, she would still make cheers. Got it. Unable to withstand a single blow. Oh, oh, oh. Charge me. Zhou snorted, why is playing a game like killing a pig, silly girl? The public screen has been flooded with, ha ha ha. Sister Zhou suddenly opened the door of the silly girl's room. The silly girl in front of the computer suddenly turned her head, and the panic on her face was faithfully recorded by the camera. Her mouth was still slightly open, clearly shouting a powerful skill just now. Time has solidified large-scale social death scene. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.